𝗃𝗂𝗀𝗊.
Hey everyone, it's 𝗃𝗀𝗀, and today we're here for a special discussion because we're going to be talking about a subject I've been meaning to talk about on this channel for a long while, but today, not only will I finally be tackling that subject, but I'll be doing it with a friend for the first time here on this channel. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is the Luigi Fan 1, but you might recognize me from videos like Nintendo High, like I voice Bowser in those, and I go by the name 𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗆, but you can call me the Luigi Fan 1 or Foley. It doesn't really matter which.
Yeah, it's really good to have you on the channel, man. I've been meaning to do a collab with you for the longest, but you know, life.
Yeah, life.
Yeah, but let's get into the subject. So today we are going to be talking about the current state of every Mario franchise. Now, we're not going to be talking about the franchise as a whole, because if we got into that, we'd be here.
We'd be here all night, folks.
Yeah, all night. But we're just going to be talking about the current state of how every Mario franchise is doing, what we think on their latest installments, what we think the future of those series looks like right now, and all of that stuff. So, you ready to go, my friend?
Heck yeah, man.
Alright, so we're going to start this off with the first categories. Like, in order to make this easier, I divided it into categories for each of the franchises. And the first one is mainline Mario, which is obviously the series that are most important to Nintendo, which is three branches: 3D Mario, 2D Mario, and Mario Kart. Totally nothing else. Yeah. I'm totally not forgetting anything. I'm just kidding. It's actually Mario Maker. That's technically the third branch of mainline Mario, but Mario Kart might as well be the...
It might as well be the bread and butter besides the main, like, two gameplay styles.
For real. Like, they love Mario Kart, and for a good reason, because that game just makes bank.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mario Party's just in the fucking graveyard.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, so how are we feeling on each of those? Let's start with 3D Mario. So I'm gonna let you give some thoughts on that first.
Okay, so with 3D Mario, honestly, like, ever since, like, the first, like, trailer of Odyssey dropped, I've just been like, honestly, they knocked it out of the park with that first trailer with like, everything. Like, it was like going back to like what they were known for back in the 90s with 64, you know? And it's like seeing them like just drop that, it just basically told me like, yeah, they're going back to the basics now. Like, no more 3D world. This is the sandbox you've been waiting for all these years. No more of that Galaxy crap either.
Yeah. I love, like, keep in mind, I love games like Galaxy and 3D. I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just saying.
Yeah, but when it comes to 3D Mario, like sandbox Mario, like, you just can't beat that excitement. Like, Odyssey was an amazing game. In terms of like where we're at with it right now, sigh.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it's not looking good for the Switch.
Yeah, in terms of like the Switch right now, we're probably not seeing 3D Mario again.
Yeah. 3D Mario is kind of just like, either just enjoy what you got with Odyssey, because it's not happening for a while, folks.
Yeah, like, if you had asked me before the last Nintendo Direct, I probably would have said that Odyssey 2 is a lock, because for the longest time, I've been a huge believer that Odyssey 2 is on the way, especially when, what was it, Tears of the Kingdom, aka Breath of the Wild 2 got announced. I thought it was a lock, bro.
Yeah, you and my boy Tyler from Super Mario T, like, shout out to him, by the way. Like, you guys were just like so like dead set on Odyssey 2 being a lock on the next Nintendo Direct, and I was just like, I really want it to be the case, but it's just like Nintendo's kind of just been wishy-washy with like 3D Mario being like having more than one installment besides like the Wii era, you know?
Yeah, like the only exception really is the Galaxy duology. Like, Galaxy 2 was a rare case, and even if it was a one-time thing, I do still think it was very likely, but it just sucks because it seems like we're gonna have to wait till the next system, and by that point, it's a question of if they will even continue the Odyssey formula.
Yeah, like, honestly feel like there's so much they could do with that formula, because like with Galaxy 2, that game was basically made because they had so many ideas from Galaxy 1 that they just couldn't fit into that game. So they were like, okay, we'll play around with this. And then they were like, you know what, let's just make a full game. Yeah. So like, I honestly think they could do that with Odyssey, but like, I want to see what they do, because it's just like, there was so much that they put into that game. And it's like, hey, if we do this, maybe we can expand upon like the ideas they introduced with like the takeover mechanic with Cappy and everything.
Right, because like I just think the capture mechanic has so much more potential than people say. Like some people say, oh, they exhausted it already, and it's like, no, bro, there were so many enemies that weren't even in Odyssey 1. Like boos and stuff like that. Like they definitely could do a sequel. Like heck, there's a whole concept book of like stuff they didn't put in the first one.
Right. I know like they probably wanted to avoid putting Boo in there because they didn't want it to feel like a retread of like the Boo power up from Galaxy. But it's like they could probably play around with that idea just a little bit.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen with 3D Mario, but regardless of if they do continue the Odyssey formula or not, I will still be excited because I just love 3D Mario. Like, even if it's something closer to 3D World or they do something that builds off Bowser's Fury, I'm still down for it, you know? Yeah,
because, like, that's not to say, like, 3D World or Bowser's Fury was bad or anything. It was just, like, I know, like the sandbox formula is, like, the bread and butter of 3D Mario, but it's, like, I feel like if they really hone in on what they did with Odyssey, they could really, really, like, nail like the next game going forward. But if they go back to 3D World style, I'd be down for that too, honestly.
Yeah. And they could always, like, you know, mishmash stuff. Like, I think Bowser's Fury elements have potential to mix with the Odyssey formula as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Just looking at that game, I'm just like, it just screams Odyssey, but like also 3D World.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty much it for 3D Mario. We don't know what the future looks like exactly for that, but it's likely it'll be the next system, and hopefully it'll bang.
Yeah.
So next up is 2D Mario. Now, let me tell you, before this Nintendo Direct, this section of the video, I was about to go on a whole rant on it. If 2D Mario comes back, it better come back swinging.
Yeah.
And it definitely did.
Oh yeah. When I first saw that trailer for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I was just like, wait a second, are they going back to New Super Mario Brothers again? And I was just like, oh god, I see the backgrounds, I see the locales, I see the way all the enemies are looking. I'm just like, okay. I kind of expected that, but then I saw Mario and I was just like, wait, why does he look like that?
Yeah, the more you watch that trailer, the more you realize, oh nah, they're not playing this time.
Right. And then they started showing off like all this trippy stuff going on, and I'm just like, oh my god, what is happening to the world? And then I see Luigi and I'm just like, yeah, there's Luigi, and then we see Princess Peach, and then we see Daisy, and I'm screaming my head off when I see that.
Oh yeah, like the amount of people who lost it at Daisy is like immaculate. There's so many videos of people losing it, including myself.
I was on the floor screaming when I saw that, man. I was like, oh my god, it's Daisy.
Yeah, you and me, I feel like we're up there in terms of the Daisy simpery.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been a Daisy simp since I was a kid, man. I feel you.
But yeah, I am proud to see our girl in the game, and overall, like, Super Mario Bros. Wonder looks so good. It's what 2D Mario has needed for a very long time, and I'm very proud that Nintendo fixed it. So,
absolutely, because, like, I'll be honest, I love the new Super Mario Bros. Games, especially DS. That's probably one of my favorite 2D Marios next to World, but, like, they needed to move on after, like, Wii. Yeah,
like it's been long overdue they shake it up, and I'm very glad that they did so.
Yeah, like I'm really excited to see where they go with this, because like the power up that they showed at the very end of that trailer, I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
that power.
I don't know what else is gonna happen with that. I guess we'll have to see, but overall, the game looks good.
Yeah.
Some people are worried. Like, some people do think there's like elements of the repetitive formula. Like, for example, it's looking likely Bowser will be the villain again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't have a problem with Bowser. I love Bowser. He's a great character. But
yeah, same.
I can understand people's frustration when he comes back again and again.
Yeah, and I know some people are worried that the Koopalings are going to come back and they're just going to be boring, like, easy bosses again, and it's just like, yeah, I feel you, because, like, for a while, the Koopalings, the most interesting, like, appearance for them have been in the RPG, so it's like,
yeah,
what's the point of bringing them back in the mainline, like, 2D games if they're just going to do the same thing over and over again?
Yeah. Like, if they do bring back Bowser and his entire family, if you will, like, at the very least, we know they'll shake it up, I guess, because Bowser Jr. alone, like, I don't know what's going on with him, but... Oh,
yeah. He looking a little bit like Dark Bowser from Bowser's Inside Story,
don't get me started on those theories. if it lines up, I don't think I'll survive, but...
Me either, man.
That's gonna be it for 2D Mario. Of course, we'll come back around it when we talk about Mario Maker, but before we get to Mario Maker... let's talk about Mario Kart, and it's pretty similar to 3D Mario, man. we're waiting for the next installment again. yeah,
because Mario Kart 8 has been, like, milked. I don't want to say milked, but just, like, extended. Its lifespan has been extended from the Wii U all the way to now, and it's like, this game is almost 10 years old. Like, next year is going to be 10 years old.
Yeah, man, like, it's crazy how long they've managed to use that game to be our main Mario Kart, like outside stuff like live circuit, home circuit, or the Mario Kart ride and stuff like that. Like, it's clear
Tour.
Tour. It's clear they very much care about Mario Kart, but it's like, man, I need a fresh new game, bruh.
yeah, I understand. Like, they're just trying to, like, finish off, like, this last wave of, like, DLC, but it's like, all right, guys, you gotta have something cooking for Mario Kart 9.
Yeah, and I do think it's possible they are cooking something. Like, it's very possible they sit on it for the next system, because, like we said, Mario Kart is a system seller. If they have a Mario Kart at the launch of the next system, whew.
Yep, it's over with. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that joint is selling like bread, bruh. It's gonna be crazy.
Like, if not Smash or, like, the next 3D Mario, if Mario Kart is there, it's unlocked. That system's gonna sell.
Yeah, so I can understand if that is their plan. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's still just like, okay, I love you, Mario Kart 8. Like, these characters are cool. Kamek is finally in a mainline game. That's great. But, like, man. Any other thoughts on Mario Kart before we move to the next one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know some people were, like, a little bit iffy on, like, the next, like, batch of characters, because, like, Kamek is in now, and then there's 𝗵𝗵𝗃, and then there's who was the other one?
Wiggler. Wiggler revealed on a Wednesday, by the way.
Wiggler Wednesday.
Yeah. Insanity. I still can't believe it. But yeah, a lot of people are, like, fighting to see who's going to get the last 2 slots. There's speculation we might get more than 2, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. Like, it's looking tight.
Yeah, people really want Pauline to get that last slot.
Ooh, like, I think it's easily, like, a toss-up between her, Diddy, and Funky Kong.
Yeah, those are all 3 fan favorites, so I can definitely see that.
Yeah, if anyone else, like, that's fine, I guess, as long as it's not, like, freaking Peachette. Like, I've said this. Like, as long as it's not Peachette taking the slot.
I saw that.
I swear, Nintendo, don't. Like, I love Toadette, but Peachette, nah.
Yeah, I love Toadette too, man, but nah. We don't need another Peach.
Please. But that brings us to, I guess, Mario Maker then, which is technically a part of the mainline series as well, and is basically an alternative to 2D Mario. Like, for a while, people pretty much thought, okay, if 2D Mario is not going to innovate, Mario Maker is probably going to take over as, like, the head of 2D Mario. But obviously now we know that's not really the case.
Yeah. People would just thought, hey, if they're not going to innovate in 2D Mario, we'll do it ourselves.
And they really were. They were cooking. Some of the Mario Maker 2 levels were hitting, bruh. I will defend that game. Like, so a lot of people say that game is trash because it does have a lot of little Timmy trash levels for sure. But if you find those lit levels, it is a lit game, and it does have a lot of unique power-ups and elements, like the 2D 3D world style. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and I know people were a lot of people were bummed out about the costumes not coming back for that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from the first game that didn't come back, which is why a lot of people look down on Mario Maker 2. But I still think it's a solid upgrade, because Mario Maker 2 still added a lot. Like, we got a Link power-up, we got a Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom that, like, has the physics from that game.
You got the slopes.
Yeah, slopes. I still go crazy for that. And probably the biggest thing, what was it? The World Maker. Like, that was huge.
Oh, yeah. That was really huge. I remember people were, like, going nuts over that.
If I had more free time, I would have, like, made mine. I outlined mine, but I never made it, because I have, like, so much other stuff to do. But yeah. A Mario Maker 3 could happen, but I'm not entirely sure anymore, because obviously Wonder, like, does so much new that I don't think Mario Maker is going to be replacing 2D Mario anytime soon.
Yeah, and I remember people, like, talking about, they were, like, fumbling the idea of there being a 3D Mario Maker, and I'm just like, that's going to be very time-consuming to make. Yeah,
that's not happening for a long while. Like, the only way that happens is if maybe they, like, used linear 3D Mario, like 3D World. Which I guess they already played with 3D World itself, but, like, I don't think they're going to do a 3D Maker yet.
Yeah, for, like, games like 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, not likely.
Yeah, nothing open at all. So, my guess is if we do get a Mario Maker 3, it'll be, like, on the next system as well. And it'll probably be, like, 2, where it just mainly builds upon the previous installment. So, yeah. I do hope it happens eventually, but I'm not really in a rush to see it anymore. I still enjoy 2. I'm satisfied with Wonder, and 2D Mario looks hopeful.
Yeah, honestly, for the first time in so many years, I actually feel like there's something to look forward to with 2D Mario.
Yeah, I love that series, bro. But
yeah, same.
Now, it's time to come to another that is very dear to you. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Mario Party. I'm gonna let you kick this off for sure.
Alright, so, with Mario Party, for a while, like, we had, of course, there's the amazing, like, N64 games that everyone loves, especially 2 and 3, but then there's the GameCube lineup, which is arguably a little bit stronger, especially towards, like, the later half of the GameCube era. My personal favorite being, like, 6 and 7.
Oh, yeah.
And then 8 was good, but, like, I mostly, like that one because of nostalgia, because it was technically my first Wii game, because I didn't get my Wii with Wii Sports until much later.
Yeah, people are divisive on 8, like, especially in recent years. There's a lot of people who say that's not really a good Mario Party. I don't think it's a bad one per se, but I do agree it's not exactly up there, because, like, the motion control is kind of wonky.
Yeah, it shows. It really shows that this game is, like, really, like, just fumbling with the motion controls. It's really new. The technology was new at the time. They were still, like, trying to get a handle on that sort of thing, and then, like, a lot of the games were fun, don't get me wrong, and I see why they brought them back for, like, a lot of the compilations that came later. And then after that game, there was DS, which I really loved. Oh, yeah. It was
my personal favorite, because I love DS. That game has so much soul, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I love DS. Like, my sister had that when we were kids. I used to play that all the time. I love DS. But, like, I think that was the only good handheld.
Oh yeah, that's
Mario Party for
I
a
agree
while.
with that take. It is the only good handheld one, because then you have Advance beforehand, which was not. It wasn't absolutely terrible, but that one was like single player focused, which is like, why would you do that?
I just recently got a copy of that game. I tried playing it. I'm just like, this is not a good Mario Party game. Like, it's not a bad game itself, but you can clearly tell this was not meant to be a Mario Party game.
Right. Like, you don't make Mario Party single player. Like, that's just an unspoken rule.
Literally, that's just that you're just asking for people to just not buy the game.
Yeah, and the others I feel like obviously fumble because of the same reasons 9, 10, and some of the others do, which is that they moved away from the classic formula, got super experimental, and it was pretty hit or miss for the longest time. Yeah,
like they just really weren't able to to commit to a specific like style. Like with 9, they really wanted to sell the car mechanic, and it's just like that takes out the whole fun of being able to move on your own and mess up your opponents and stuff. So it's like, why would you do that? And then 10, they thought, hey, we could bring in Bowser, that will fix the problem, right? And it's just like, no, you have the same problem, but you just added Bowser.
To be fair, the Bowser mode had potential, but he is broken, bro. That game, it's disgusting.
Yeah. And then the other handheld, like, Mario parties like Island Tour and Star Rush is just, it's just there. Those are just, those just exist.
I didn't think those games had fans, but apparently they do somewhere out there.
It's somewhere, I guess. But I'm just like, those games are whatever to me. Like, they're not bad, but they're not like standout titles I actually go out of my way to play, like DS.
Yeah. The series made a comeback, though.
Yeah, because Super finally decided to return to the old format, but also introduced that broken-ass dice mechanic.
Yeah, Super is a game that I feel like my opinions change on that game every time I look back on it. Because, like, on one hand, it was a step closer to returning to the classic formula, but also it had a lot of like design decisions that are like,
Yeah, that's fair, honestly. Like, I feel like with that game, I really liked it when I was playing with like my friends in college, but like on its own, it's not really a game I feel is worth like playing on by yourself. Because like for me with Mario Party, I've always been able to play by myself because I didn't really have like sometimes I didn't really have like my sisters to play with.
I feel that.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say like I feel that because I grew up with my brothers playing a lot of these games, especially the earlier ones. As I got older, I lost that experience for sure.
Yeah, same. Like my sisters kind of started moving away from video games, and I didn't really have a lot of friends like that lived near me to like play these games with, so I just played them by myself. And with Super, like it's more fun with your friends. I know that's kind of like been like the main shtick with the series in general, but for me, I've always had fun playing the single player modes for like the older Mario parties, but with Super, I just did not get that vibe, and like a lot of the boards were really small and very, very hit or miss for me.
Oh yeah, the boards are easily like the weakest part of that game.
Yeah, luckily the mini games are pretty fun though.
Yeah, the mini games are cool, and that game still has the biggest roster. Like in terms of roster, that game does go crazy.
Yeah, I think before that game, the biggest roster for Mario Party was it 8?
I feel like it was, because it had a lot of folks. It had Toadette, Dry Bones.
Yeah, and then it had Camera Bro, and then Blooper.
Yeah, that had a lot of characters. But watch, we're like wrong on some technicality. Like, actually, this one with Koopa Kid had like way more, or something like that. I don't know.
Probably. It's been a while. But Mario Party Superstars brought it back. They really brought it back with that one.
Yeah, like that game, like not only does it bring back the 100 minigames from across the series concept from Top 100, but it actually utilizes it by having good boards, though by remaking old ones, but still they're like really good. And like the music was great. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, the overall look of the game is great. Like that game, like I made a whole review on it, so I have not much else to say.
Yeah, like I've just been playing it a lot more recently because I recently actually got the game myself. Before I was just like borrowing my sister's copy, but like, yeah, that game is really good. It's actually really good.
And it even has actually good online, which is insane to me still.
Exactly. Like I've been like when I play like online with my girlfriend or like my other friends, I have very little issues, and the only issues I ever run into is because our Wi-Fi is being kind of spotty, but usually like when our Wi-Fi is okay, it's perfectly solid, and I love that.
Yeah, like that game is great. The only problem with it, and which leads into like the actual current state of the series, is I really wish that game got DLC, bro.
Oh, you know, I have been a huge advocate for this game to get DLC. Like a new game could be cool.
This
game is begging for DLC.
Yes, Yes, like it needs DLC because like if you just added a few more boards, a few more characters, and even some minigames, it'd be perfect.
Exactly. Like if they just brought like more boards from like 1, 2, and 3, and then more from like the GameCube era, I honestly think this game would have been perfect. If they brought in like Western Land or what was that one board in 6?
I forget. I'm bad with remembering the GameCube ones, but like there were all sorts of options across the series. I would have loved to see one like a Koopa Bank. That's one I really wanted to see back from Mario Party 8. Because that one.
Yeah. Oh, the Tycoon Hotel one. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that one is so cool. And
yeah,
if they had just done that, bring back some beloved boards, put some more characters in there, and some minigames, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, they're just kind of done with it, and it bothers me a lot because it's like this game is literally starving for DLC. Meanwhile, Kart 8 is just like swimming in it. And I'm just like,
right? Like, I really wish, like, as much as I love the Mario Kart 8 DLC, I honestly would have been okay if this was the game that got it, and Kart 8 just kind of chilled,
took a back seat for a bit. Like, this game is almost 10 years old. Mario Party Superstars is only like away from being 2 years old. It's like, come on, yo, like just give this game some DLC.
Like, even if they gave it some today, I'd be okay with it.
Absolutely. Like, the game has been on the market for a while now. It honestly should get DLC.
Yeah, but it seems like for now, more than likely they'll probably move on to Mario Party, whatever they call the next one. So
yeah, that's probably, it's a shame, but like, if it means we'll get more games like that, I'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's the worrying thing. It's like we don't know if the classic formula will come back again, because for all we know, like, they could once again start experimenting, and we'll be back in dicey territory.
Oh, please don't pull a Sonic. NDQ, please don't pull a Sonic.
Yeah, like, where it just goes hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. Like, bro, please, stay consistent. You finally got some goodwill back. Please don't mess that up. Yeah, and keep in mind, we love Sonic here.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get it twisted. I'm a huge diehard fan of Sonic. This is not a diss on Sonic. I absolutely love Sonic. Just so y'all know.
All right. So next up is one I'm personally not passionate in. I don't know how passionate you are in these games, but yeah, it seems like this sub-series now is the most controversial these days, which is the Mario sports games.
Yeah, I haven't played a whole lot of the Mario sports games. Like, I think the only one I've played a decent amount of was Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Oh, that one's a banger. I love that game.
Yeah, I played that one through unconventional means. Like, I remember back in like 6th, 7th grade-ish, there was a kid on my bus who had the game, and like, I would watch him play, and he was like, "Oh, dude, you want to play?" And I'm just like, "Sure, I want to play." And then I played it, and I was like, "This game is really good."
Yeah, like, when the Mario sports games are good, they are good. Like, that refers to all of them, like tennis, golf, strikers, especially baseball, basketball. I don't know how to feel about the sports compilation ones. Like, apparently people like some of them. Like, Sports Mix has passionate fans. Otherwise, I don't care for those personally.
That's fair. Like, Strikers is probably the one that has the most personality out of all of them.
Yeah, it feels like that one has a lot of the real passionate fans also. And I don't blame it, because it has so much style. Like, especially those first two.
Absolutely. Just take one look at the first game's, like, box art, and you're just like, yeah, this is definitely what I want.
Yeah, that series is wild. But that gets to the current status of the series, which is very mixed, because right now the series is suffering from the free content update model, where they'll release the game, and for the most part the game will be intact. Like, it won't be broken or anything, but it'll lack a lot of content. Like, we talked about how Superstars could have used more content, but overall Superstars still felt like a complete package.
Yeah.
With these games, they feel like light. To put it mildly.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that with like games like Ultra Smash, and then again with Aces, and it's just like, dang, I feel bad for y'all.
Yeah, Mario sports fans overall are just like going through it in terms of that. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't say things are all gloomy, because here's my take. I think with the latest installments of these games, they're not absolutely terrible, because with Tennis Aces, for example, when those updates did finish, the overall game was pretty solid. Like, the character roster was okay. The core mechanic of that game is pretty cool. Like, the way blocking actually, like, ties into the gameplay is really cool. And Super Rush especially is also cool, because, like, you can hit the ball down the course, and you can actually run down the course as your character. That's really cool to me.
Yeah.
It's just like these games lack content. They lack like any personality like Strikers did for a while, and because of that, the games just feel so dry. And even with the third Strikers games, like everyone was hyped for it, but unfortunately, it was also hit by this.
Yeah, that game kind of just like it was announced and people were hyped, and then it kind of just showed up, and people were just like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah. That's great."
And it committed, like, the worst crime of all of these latest installments, which is not having 𝗖𝗍 on the base roster, which is, like, weird, because, like, she was a mainstay since the very first game. Like, why would you make her an unlockable all of a sudden? Yeah, and she even slowly kind of became the mascot of it, in a way, because, like, she grew super popular, like, when people started looking back on the older ones. Like, the voice clips and everything were, like, going viral, and people were really hyping up 𝗖𝗍. Low-key, I have a theory that that surge is what led to her getting in Wonder. Low-key.
I understand, because, like, the hype around 𝗖𝗍 has been, like, it's just been going up in recent years, and I as a personal, like, 𝗖𝗍 sip that's been a fan of her since, like, childhood, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, but in general, like, the solution to these games is simply that I really do think they need to, like, fix the content issue. Like, let the games cook a bit. I know Nintendo likes to get them out fast so they can fill out their game lineup, but, like, let them cook for a bit longer so that they can have more content and so that they can do more creative ideas and stuff. Like, because the best installments are the ones that really had the time to cook and have a bunch of side modes and, like, cool extra content.
Yeah, I feel like the games that they just let, like, stay in, like, development for a while really has the potential to just, like, put out, like, these banger modes and, like, have all these, like, cool things that everybody from pretty much any part of the Mario franchise could, like, look at and be like, hey, that's really cool.
Yeah. Like, so, tennis, golf, like, and Strikers, I hope their next installments are better received. Basketball actually is dead. Mario Hoops is dead. It actually hasn't gotten a sequel. It could.
Yeah, Mario, I think the last Mario baseball game was Super Sluggers.
Yeah, so there's rumors baseball will come back, but everyone's like, because they're suspecting it'll be light again.
Honestly, my doubts for, like, basketball coming back would have been, like, super strong prior to, like, you know what, we're about to talk about, like, right after this. But like after that, oh man, anything goes at this point.
Yeah, like I would have been a non-believer on basketball coming back, but we'll get to that. But yeah,
we'll get to that.
Hoping the Mario Sports get it together. Basically,
me too, man.
Yeah, and I do love those games, like when they are really good. Also, I wouldn't mind if they tackled a new sport. Like, this is a little side tangent, but I want an American football one. Like, I'm surprised they never did that.
Yeah, I was reading that in your notes, and I was just like, yeah, that's a fair point. Like, why did they never capitalize on that? Because, like, if I remember correctly, that's the most popular sport in the States.
Right. Like, an American football one would go hard, I feel like.
Yeah. Like, imagine Wario being a freaking quarterback.
I can see that so easily, bro. I can see it so easily. So I hope they do it one day. It would be great.
That would, like, if it has the same, like, energy as Strikers, I'm all for it.
Right. That one is another one that needs to be, like, super intense and dramatic.
Absolutely. I'm so here for that.
But now, we get to a big one.
Yep. This is the
Mario RPGs, baby.
Yep, the granddaddy of all Mario, like, talk for you and I, basically.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say it now. Before this direct, when I was doing a beta version of this video, I was about to rant because you know how I felt about Mario RPGs for the longest now.
Yeah, me too, man. Because I honestly feel the same.
Yeah, like obviously with Paper Mario, we love the first three, 64, Thousand Year Door, Super. Like Super is mixed with people, and I don't think it's perfect, but I do like that game a lot.
For me, I honestly love it just as much as the first two, but like I understand why people are mixed on that game. I completely get it, but like when I first got to play that game, I wasn't really thinking about this doesn't play anything like 64 which I grew up with. I'm just getting more Paper Mario, and I was just happy. So like I'm chill with the game, but I completely understand why other people aren't. Yeah,
it carried the energy of the first two, so it has that goodwill for that reason. But I can understand those that hated the gameplay shift. And then obviously, Sticker Star, Color Splash, Origami King. Oof. The less said about Sticker Star and Color Splash, the better. But I know Origami King does have its fans. You played it, actually. What do you think of it?
I love Origami King. Surprisingly, like, I was very burdened by Sticker Star, let's just say that, and leave it at that. And I remember the announcement for Color Splash, and I was just like, bro, this is just Sticker Star 2. and then I was like, I remember seeing the announcement for Origami King on Twitter, and I was just like, oh, they're announcing a new Paper Mario game. Like, not for a direct, just on Twitter? Okay. And then I saw the trailer, and I was just like, okay, is this just going to be like Color Splash 2? And then I'm just like, okay. They're bringing back, I see more gameplay. I'm just like, they're bringing back partners, sort of? And then I see the ring system. I'm just like, what is this? And then I actually play the game when it comes out. And I'm just like, this isn't bad. And then I got further into the game. And I ended up coming out of it like really happy with it. Like, it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. And definitely not what I would want out of a Paper Mario game. But it has its merits. And for one, the music is phenomenal. Absolutely. Like, they did not slump with the music at all. Like,
I agree. Like, even with Sticker Star and Color Splash, I think those games have great OSTs, actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do like their OSTs, but like, as far as the games go, I can do without them. But Origami King, I have like good things to say about the gameplay, because like I found the ring system to be kind of fun sometimes, and I found like the elementals to be kind of fun too. And then I really like what they did with like Olivia and Bobby. Like,
yeah, I hear they too soon, but
yeah, I won't spoil what happens in that game, like story wise, but like the game is a lot of fun. I'll just say that it's like if you're expecting like the 1,000 Year Door levels of mastery, it's not that, but it's definitely really good. I'll just say that.
And that's surprising to hear, because obviously, like, this game has, like, a very divisive outlook on it. It's crazy. Yeah. But I don't even want to get into that, because we'd be here all day.
Yeah, because, like, I've already got my own, like, video idea planned for that sort of thing. Like, just talking about the Paper Mario games in general, because that's something I've been wanting to, like, put out into the world for, like, years now.
Oh, yeah. So, if he drops that, y'all better go watch it.
Yeah, if I drop it, it's gonna be one hell of a video, and I might need help editing that sort of thing, because it's like a video that I've never actually made before. So,
I don't know if I'll be able to help with that, because I'm still up to my nose in so much stuff. But
understandable.
However that goes, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
But overall, the outlook of Paper Mario is so mixed. Like, it put such a huge damper over the entire fate of Mario RPGs. And what obviously didn't help that was the death of Mario and Luigi. Like that, and that series is still dead. So that hasn't changed.
Don't remind me, man. I'm still mourning the loss of Alpha Dream over here, man.
Yeah, I feel that. But I will say, unlike Paper Mario, they never really like fully fell off necessarily.
Yeah, like I noticed the shift with Paper Jam, and it's not even like that game was bad. I just noticed there was a bit of a shift in like.
I feel like that game really was just hurt because of the lack of creativity with Mario in that era as a whole.
Yeah, they were kind of like going for a very sterile approach for the Mario series at that point in time, but I think we're getting out of that era now, because.
Oh yeah, because that gets to it. Mario RPG remake, baby.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see this game again. I never thought I would see Geno, Mallow, all of these characters ever again.
Yeah, I thought Gino was just gonna be doomed to be in Square's basement for the rest of time, because like he wasn't in the Superstar Saga remake.
Yeah, like it is clear like that Nintendo was leaving that game in the dust, bro. They wouldn't even bring the original to NSO, and at the time I assumed that was because they just didn't care.
Yeah, but no, they were like, y'all want this game? Bet.
Yeah, they were cooking, so I take back my words on roasting them for that.
And the thing with this game that really has me shocked with what they're doing with it, they're not editing any of the character designs for like all these characters. They all look how they did in the original. It's like all the Toads look just like how they did in those games. It's just like,
yeah, they're letting female Toads exist again, which is crazy.
That aren't Toadette.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild to me.
So yeah, that game gives me immense hope that Mario RPGs can make a big comeback. Like, Mario RPGs weren't completely dead because, again, like you mentioned, Origami King wasn't that bad. And we also had the Mario plus Rabbids series, which I can't speak on that because I haven't played those.
Yeah, I can't speak on that either because, like, I've had the game sitting on my Switch, I just haven't played it.
Yeah. From what I hear, though, both of those games are good, which is still shocking to me because, like, when this was announced, bro...
No one was hyped for these. No one was hyped. When that shit was leaked, people were like, Mario and Rabbids, that's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
Because, like, Ubisoft, but like, no, people were actually really surprised by how actually good this was.
Yeah, so for a while, they were carrying, which is shocking. I still can't believe Rabbids of all characters were carrying.
The Mario RPGs just picking up the slack for us. That's wild.
Yeah, but luckily we're out of that phase, and it seems like Mario RPG is a potential start to a new beginning.
Indeed, because like this remake has really energized me to actually go back and finish the original. Because like I got really far. I'm like, I think I'm close to the end.
Yeah,
but like, I kind of just stopped because, like, I don't
even know whether to recommend, like, you wait for the remake or play the original, because I think the original will still have its own charm, because it seems like they'll be adding stuff to the remake, for sure.
Yeah, it's like literally sitting in my Super Nintendo, like, right now. Like, I have it, like, right there, so if I want to go back to it, I can.
Yeah, and it's not a long game, so you definitely could beat it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, the only reason why I've been sitting on it was, again, I got busy, and because, like, I was doing, like, extra things like beating Kulix and doing the Super Jump Challenge, which I'm very proud of because that took a while.
Oh, Lord. I don't think I beat that.
Yeah.
I did beat Kulix, though. That took a while. Don't ask.
Yeah. Yeah, that took me a while, too, but, like, I think the Super Jump Challenge took me way longer because it's, like, you have to be frame perfect after, like, the 13th jump. If you mess up once, it's back to the beginning for you, and I
don't know what it is with Mario and jump challenges, bro. Like, between that and Odyssey's jump rope challenge, pain,
absolute pain, bro.
But yeah, like, here's what I'm imagining: best case scenario for Mario RPGs. Super Mario RPG does well, and we can get a sequel to that, which would be crazy. Paper Mario, as much as I love Origami King, returns to its roots, hopefully.
Yeah.
Like, well, as much as you love Origami King, not as much as I love it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And then hopefully Mario and Luigi can come back from the dead.
Yeah, see, I have a few, like, points for that. Like, with the Mario RPG remake, I feel like it will do really well because, for starters, the Switch has an insane install base.
Yeah, everything on Switch sells crazy. Like, we've seen this time and time again.
Like, the only reason the original didn't do that well was because it came out at the very end of the SNES lifespan, and it was a pretty, like, standard RPG for the time. And I see this game doing well nowadays because, like, there's a huge, like, cult following for this like game. So it's like, I definitely see this going somewhere. And with Mario and Luigi, if, like, the former employees of Alpha Dream want to get together and make a new company like what former Hudson Soft members did for ND-Cube and Mario Party, they should definitely do that on it.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go as weird as with ND-Cube at the start.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for that perfect timeline, bro. Like, it'll be like the end of Avatar, like the 4 nations in harmony. Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi, Paper Mario, and I guess Rabbids can still exist if that is still a thing.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people are like saying, "Oh, the reason why they turned Paper Mario into an action adventure game instead of an RPG is because Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario were both RPGs, so it was a bit redundant to have them coexist." But it's like, no, these games have two different gameplay styles, and they have two different tones. Like, one feels more like a traditional storybook, which is the reason why it was called Mario Story in Japan, and the other is more of a traditional Saturday morning like cartoon type of game. And I just don't see why we can't have both. And also Mario RPG back, because like I fucking love that game.
Yeah, in general, like all four of those subseries are very different. Like,
Indeed,
they have their similarities because they're literally all like built from the DNA of our Mario RPG, but like
Indeed.
they are very different. So I think they can all live in harmony.
Indeed, like, and Mario plus Rabbids, like, that speaks for itself. It's a completely, like, different type of RPG.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
that's not even the same type, almost.
right, it's kind of just, like, its own thing, but it's still an RPG nonetheless, so
Yeah.
it's like,
And it's not
we can
like...
honestly...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's not like these are all by, like, similar teams. These are all different teams, I should say.
Exactly, like, Paper Mario is Intelligent Systems. Mario RPG was Squaresoft at the time, but now Square Enix. And Mario Luigi was Alpha Dream, and Mario plus Rabbids is Ubisoft. Like, they're not the same team. So it's like, I feel like we could have our cake and eat it.
For real.
Like, that's just more money for Nintendo, so I don't know why they don't want to do it.
Yeah, hoping Mario RPGs turn around now that we've seen, like, the impossible happen, basically.
Right, basically. If this means Gino has a chance in the next Smash game...
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started, bro. Like, honestly, I'm not even crazy to see him in Smash anymore. If he just starts appearing in other Mario games in general, I'll be happy.
Yeah, same. Like, I just love Gino. Like, he's a really cool character.
For real. But, were you gonna say something beforehand, or are you ready to move on?
I think I was gonna say one more thing about this whole thing, but, like, it's not nothing too big. I think I was just gonna say, like, as far as, like, Mario and Luigi goes, like, if they can go back to, like, what they were doing with, like, Bowser's Inside Story, like, having, like, a specific character be, like, the focus, but also have Mario and Luigi there, if they do that with, like, say Peach, or like maybe even then play around with the idea of introducing Wario and Waluigi into those games, I'd be fine with that.
Bro, the amount of fan box arts of like a Mario and Luigi game with Wario and Waluigi, bro, I need it.
I've seen those over the years, and it just makes me want it more too.
But that'll be it for Mario RPGs, and in general, that'll be it for the what I would call the hit or miss Mario series. So that gets us into the character spin-off Mario series, which are the ones that focus on different protagonists other than Mario.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Donkey Kong. You know, the OG, technically, of this whole, like, Mario franchise, because the arcade Donkey Kong is first.
Yep.
But he has his own sub-series, and he's in a weird spot right now, because the last game was great. Tropical Freeze was great. But he's kind of been MIA for a bit.
Yeah, which is weird because, like, it's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he's like a big staple in Nintendo, but it feels like they don't treat him right lately in terms of games. Like, he's not completely absent because, for example, we just saw him in the Mario movie.
Right.
Like a pretty substantial role there.
But he's just, like, been gone for the last 7, almost 9 years at this point with Tropical Freeze. It's just like... they've been sitting on that game for a while now. Like, I know they ported it to Switch, but it's like, I think that port was like a few years ago at this point too.
Yeah, it's old at this point. Like, we've got no 2D game, no 3D game, not even like the weird spin-offs like Donkey Kong or Jungle Beat. Like, we just see nothing from Donkey Kong, and it's surprising.
Like, is it like a similar reason to why Miyamoto hasn't been doing anything with F-Zero? Like, he doesn't know how to innovate the series? Like, what's going on?
My theory is that it's just because they're balancing, like, between other games. Like, for example, like, we got, like, 1 million Mario games announced, and maybe they feared he'd get buried under that.
But that's fair.
Because, like, if, like, no one is playing another 2D Donkey Kong with, like, Mario Wonder being announced. Like, 2D Donkey Kong is good, and sometimes even better than 2D Mario, But in terms of popularity, Mario.
It's always Mario.
Yeah,
it's Mario. Yeah, the Donkey Kong games have always been pretty niche, especially the country games. And it's like, if you're looking for a specific flavor of platformers, most people go for Mario. But like, if you're looking for something like that plays a little differently and has a little bit more oomph to it, most people go for like Donkey Kong Country or like the newer like Donkey Kong Country games like Returns and Tropical Freeze.
And those games are no slouch. They do sell well. Like, for example, the first one, like, sold crazy. It's like one of the top SNES games.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong still has clout. It's just, not as much as Mario.
Yeah. Like, I've played a bit of the first game and then a little bit of 2, but like, I haven't gotten that far in either of them, so I don't really have that much to say about Donkey Kong Country in general, but like, I do like what I've played so far, so.
Yeah, my only hope for the series is we get a new game and that it's really solid. 2D, 3D, spin-off, it doesn't really matter. Side note, I want Diddy Kong Racing 2 still. Like, I know we have Mario Kart, but please, bro. Understandable,
more the merrier.
But other than that, I'm satisfied with Donkey Kong, because he did have a really great role in the movie. Like, they even put other Kongs in there, so they clearly have not forgotten about him.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, he was great in the movie. Like, I think he had the best, like in terms of comedy, he landed the most for me.
Yeah. But that'll be it for DK. So next up is, I'm pretty sure he's like both of our, like, one of our favorite characters, Luigi. Yes, I love Luigi, and Luigi's Mansion is his series. How do you feel about Luigi's Mansion right now?
Okay, I'm probably going to like not piss people off. At least I hope. But like, I didn't really get to play the Luigi's Mansion games. Like, I didn't get to play the original much, like, as a kid. Like, not because I didn't want to. I absolutely wanted to. I just could never get my hands on it. But like, I remember seeing that game and being kind of freaked out by all the ghosts and stuff. But like, as far as like the game goes, I did play a little bit from at like my parents' friend's house. Like, their kid had like Luigi's Mansion on their GameCube, and I watched them play it, and it was like really interesting to me. But like, I never really got a chance to get the game because like at the time, the only person who was able to get games was my older sister. So I did play that, and I did get to like see a little bit of that game, but I didn't really get to play much of it. And then I see like Dark Moon. It's like, I never got around to playing that, but it's like, I've heard good things about 3, and as far as like the state of the series goes, I think they're in a really good position right now, because 3, I've heard good things about 3, and it's like, if they keep that going, but also like maybe try to harken back to the style of the original, I think they'll be in a good place.
Yeah. Like, I'll say this, like, ooh, you gotta change that, my friend. You gotta play that first one at least fully. It is a really good game. It's one of my favorite games, because, like, I love Luigi, and I feel like that game just is his game. Like, it really feels like Luigi at his best.
Yeah, like, most of my Luigi, like, fanaticism came from, like, Mario Party, but also the Mario and Luigi games. But like, I knew of Luigi's Mansion. It's not like I didn't. It's like there were references. There was references to it in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. But like, I never got to play the original all the way through, and I really wanted to. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, and that's fair, because we're not gonna be able to play like every game out there. But
yeah.
Regardless, I agree with a lot of what you said. In terms of my personal perspective, I love the first game. It's still my favorite in the series, actually. Dark Moon, it's not a bad game, but it was a bit disappointing for me at the time, because you can feel a bit of that Mario standardization.
Yeah, that sterilization. Yeah, that sterilization.
It was creeping in. You could feel it. But that game still was kind of unique, because it had some original bosses, and the multiple mansion mechanic was good in theory. But just the overall execution was very rough to me. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of the Mario sterilization around that time was like apparent, because when you compare Dark Moon to the original, and just by how Luigi looks compared to the first game and second game, you can see it. It's like clear as day.
Yeah. Yeah, Dark Moon did have some interesting ideas, but overall I still really like the first for that reason. And same with the third. Like, and I like the third a lot more than the second. It definitely fixes some of those issues for sure. Like, they bring back the portrait ghosts and stuff, and I like some of the OCs, like King Boo's sidekick, 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗃. I actually think she's pretty cool, but otherwise, like, I think they can definitely still take notes from that original, and I hope they apply it to the fourth one. And the fourth one is happening, because the third one sold like hotcakes.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's not a matter of if it's happening, it's when.
Yeah, which is most likely the next system.
Which makes me happy, because Luigi deserves his own series at this point.
Yeah, I love those games, and I'm hoping they only get better from here. Like, I do think they need to shake up some stuff. Like, for example, I love King Boo, but he's kind of hitting that Bowser effect for me, so...
He's kind of hitting that, like... stale, like, iconic but also stale villain status, like with Bowser, Eggman, Dr. Wily.
Yeah, I love him, but they definitely got to shake up that too. I wouldn't mind a new antagonist, which they introduced a new one with, like, the third one, like 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗃 was a side villain with him, so it wasn't completely stale there. But, like, in terms of, like, a new overall threat and plot, I would love that.
Yeah.
All right. So next up is Warrior, and this is going to be really interesting. I don't think I've heard you talk about Warrior, so how do you feel about him, like, in terms of WarioWare, in terms of Warrior Land? Like, how do you feel with Warrior as a character series?
I have not played any of, like, the WarioWare or Wario Land games for that matter. Like, like, I've never played any of them, but, like, that's not to say I don't like Wario. That's not because I don't like Wario or anything. I love Wario, but it's just, like, I'm mostly, like, used to him in, like, the spin-off games, and sometimes, like, just seeing him, like, in memes or whatever.
Yeah, he is a funny character for sure.
But, like, I've never actually got a chance to sit down and play his games, and I really should fix that, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't even know which one to recommend first, because, like, they're just all so different and wacky. Like, his series is probably the most weird of the bunch, because, like, every game feels like it's very different. Like, even in terms of, like, different WarioWare games and different Warrior Land games, they feel very different between each other, because his series is just so weird, and I actually love it. It fits his character to a T.
Yeah.
In terms of the current state of them, I'm really surprised we're getting another one. Like, they announced Move It for Switch.
Yeah.
And that really surprised me, because I thought, like, okay, they had to get it together, so they won't announce a new one, but it happened, so that's cool. I get it's apparently a sequel to Smooth Moves, which I don't think I've played that one, but I've played many of the others. My favorite is DIY, and I really want a sequel to that game, bro. Like, that's the one where you can make your own micro games. You might have seen some footage from it.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that game.
Yeah, like, that game is really good. It just has so much personality, and it really utilizes the cast there. So I want a sequel to that game. Now, one thing I want is, like, I want micro games to be online and shareable, but I do know that could cause issues. So yeah, I can understand why they would be hesitant on that. But I don't know. I just really would love some sort of successor to that. But otherwise, Warrior is alright.
Yeah. And as far as, like, Wario Land goes and why they haven't touched that in forever, it's because, most likely because 2D Mario exists, and they kind of just don't want to, like, retread old ground with that game. Yeah,
the reason why those games were so common is because 2D Mario was kind of on a bit of a long break.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember, like, the gap between, what was it? Land 2, I think it was, and World, and just all the way to New Super Mario Bros. DS, it was a wide gap.
Yeah, because, like, for a while, all they were doing during, like, the GBA era was, like, porting, like, the first few games to, like, the GBA, like, 1, 2, 3, and World. Yeah, like, they had other priorities in other areas. Like, since Mario was slacking, they were like, okay, we'll have Wario Land exist. But you can tell, like, as the years have gone by, they've put more of a focus on Mario again, so, like, unfortunately, that let Wario Land fall in the back burner, which is a shame, because it is a very different series from 2D Mario. Mm-hmm.
Like, that
and
game
I know...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, and I know like the original like Wario Land spun off from like Land 2, right?
Land 3, actually.
Oh yeah, Land 3.
Oh, well, it spun off from Land 2, but yeah, it is the third game technically. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But that's obviously because they wanted to sell it. They needed Mario's name somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I would love it if Wario Land came back. Whether it be another traditional one, like Move It especially. Move It almost feels like the blueprint for Wonder in a way. Like that game had like a hand-drawn art style. Like it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I was gonna say, oh yeah, 3D Wario too, because they made a 3D game. I think
yeah, Wario World.
But yeah, they made Wario World. That game.
Yeah, that. I think I've seen like cutscenes of that game, and they were so unhinged.
Yeah, that game is wild. But I would love a sequel to it, bro, or some sort of successor, whatever.
They were really cooking in the GameCube era. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, GameCube era, like GameCube, GBA era Mario, and Wii and DS era Mario are like near peak for me.
Same. Like it's not even just nostalgia talk. I just look back at that and I'm just like, what were they doing back then?
Yeah, they were releasing 1 million Mario games a minute, bro. Like whether it be Mario, Wario, or whoever, bro, everyone was getting the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads to the next character, I guess. So Yoshi. Ooh boy, Yoshi. I'm about to pop. Before I pop off on Yoshi, because I have a spicy hot take I'm going to drop on this series. What's your experience with the series?
Okay, so with Yoshi, like my sister had like Yoshi's Island DS when we were like in 3rd, 4th grade, I want to say, and I played a little bit of that. I liked it. I didn't really I don't remember if we beat it or not, but like I did play a good amount of it and I had fun. But like eventually I got like a copy of the GBA port of the original game and I played a little bit of that and I kind of like it a little bit more than DS, but like I feel like I have to play like the original on the Super Nintendo to really like gauge how I feel about like those specific games. But like I've never really had much of a like interest in Yoshi beyond that. And it's not because like I hate those games or anything, it's just I've been more focused on like other platformers and other RPGs and stuff, so
yeah, like Yoshi is an interesting series because here's how I feel. Like that first game, the SNES game, it is a really good game. Like it has so much unique charm and style to it, and I just think it's one of the best 2D platforms overall.
That's fair.
Like it's up there for me. Like I can replay that game all day. It is so good.
Yeah, in terms of style, I love the original game. It's so good to look at. It's so cute.
Yeah. Here's where my rant starts. Unfortunately, okay. I really do think that game is the peak of the series.
That's fair, because like I know a lot of people are sick of like the arts and crafts aesthetic it's been going for in recent years.
Yeah, like keep in mind, Woolly World is a good game. I don't know about Crafter World. I haven't finished that game. I've played a bit of it, but like, bro, I'm tired of the arts and craft aesthetic. Like, I don't think it's bad, but it's like overdone, and it makes Yoshi look a little overly cutesy to me.
Fair, and it's like it's basically Yoshi's answer to like Paper Mario's like paper problem.
Right. It's a very similar case. And keep in mind, it's not like Yoshi is a series filled with bad games. Like, there's other games I like. Yoshi's Island DS, people are mixed on that game. But I personally love that game.
Yeah, same.
It's basically a direct sequel to the SNES one. It's not as good because it has its flaws, which I could get into all day. But overall, like, the series, I just think it needs a new direction, in my opinion.
Maybe harken back to that old style, but also try to innovate it.
Yeah, like that's really what I want. I want them to go back to that old style and just try something new with it again, you know? Whether it be a 2D Yoshi or maybe even try a 3D one. Like Warrior went to 3D and Luigi's series is 3D, so maybe Yoshi can get a 3D game.
Yeah.
Like if I had to say what it could look like, the Yoshi track in the Mario Kart DLC, that would be perfect. Like if a Yoshi game looked like that, that would be perfect.
I'm honestly surprised Yoshi has yet to get a single 3D game at this point.
Yeah, it feels like something they would do for sure, but like, it's taken a minute. It's taken almost as long as Kirby.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's in the same boat as Kirby. When Kirby finally got its actual like 3D game in this recent game on the Switch, what was it called again?
Forgotten Land.
Oh yeah, Forgotten Land. Yeah,
and that's a great game. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. I love that game to death. But yeah, Yoshi just needs to do something new. Also, another side tangent I need to get on. The next game needs to take place in the modern times, and they just need to stick with that, because all the Yoshi games take place in the past, basically, because like they try to mimic the first one, but that has to stop, bro. Because not only does it devalue the first game's story because of Baby Mario constantly getting kidnapped, like it's getting ridiculous at this point. Like
that's fair.
You can't tell me he got kidnapped that many times and then like and didn't get traumatized by that.
And then they get delivered to the wrong parents, apparently.
Oh my goodness, Yoshi's New Island. Don't start me on that one.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
that game is a dark memory. I don't want to talk about it.
If I may, like, I remember listening to like the soundtrack for that game. I'm just like, were they serious with this?
Oh yeah, they were on that Sonic Chronicles timing there.
Oh my gosh, do not remind me of Sonic Chronicles, bro.
But yeah, I love Yoshi. Just change up the antagonist from Baby Bowser, stop taking place in the past, and just do something different, you know?
Yeah.
I love Yoshi. He deserves it, man. He's a cool character.
Yeah, I love Yoshi. He's a great character.
Next up, since this one technically isn't a franchise yet, we're not going to talk too much more on this one, but I want to touch on it because it has the potential to become one, which is Captain Toad.
Yeah, especially after the movie.
Yeah, he technically has one game, but it does have ports with like different content, so he could get a series. They could make a sequel for sure.
And if they have to have a second character for that game, let it be Toadette.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think in the 3D World port for Switch, the Captain Toad levels have multiplayer there. Unfortunately, his co-op buddies are the Toad Brigade, which are the other ones, like the green, yellow, blue one. So if they do continue it, make Toadette player 2, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. She deserves that much.
Yeah. But I love Captain Toad. Like, that first game, like, it surprised me. Originally, I was like, bruh, they gave a game to Toad? Nah, this is gonna be trash.
Because this boy can't jump.
Yeah, he literally cannot jump, which is baffling to me. Like, even when I played 3D World and his levels there, I was like, why though?
Right.
But the more I played those levels, I was like, okay, this has potential. And then when the game happened and I played it, I was like, oh, they actually cooked here. So yeah, I would not mind if Captain Toad becomes a series.
Yeah, they could probably pull off some interesting like puzzles with that.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush to see more Captain Toad games, because obviously there's like way more Mario sub-series I care about more. But for sure, if they continue it, I would love to see more. So now, that gets into another series that technically wasn't a franchise at the time, because it only had like one game, but now we've gotten a new one announced, thanks to the Direct. So, Princess Peach. Have you played Super Princess Peach?
Yes, I was going to talk about how much I really love that game and how underrated it actually is.
Alright, go off.
Okay, so that is another game my sister had when we were kids. Like, I remember that was the birthday I got Pokemon Emerald, and she got Super Princess Peach for her DS, and I remember playing it with her, and she really liked it, and I got a few sessions in that game too, and I really, really liked it. Like, I thought the music was great, I thought the gameplay was a tad easy, but like it was still fun. And I remember like when we finally got to the final boss, like we didn't know how to beat this boss. Like it was just like, what are we doing wrong? Oh my god, how do we beat him? We're not doing any damage to this dude. Like what is going on? But then we finally figured it out because we were dumb kids. So, but like yeah, I really love Super Princess Peach. It's a game that deserves way more attention than it gets, and honestly, if they could bring it back and bring Perry back, I'd love it.
Yeah. My thing is, I think it's definitely an underrated Mario game. Some people say it's even better than some of the other 2D Mario games, which I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but you can make a case for like maybe the new Super Mario Brothers game.
Yeah, it's definitely more creative. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's definitely more creative than the later new Super Mario Brothers titles, but like as far as like the early 2D games, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because those are like in a gold spot for me. But I do love that first Super Princess Peach game, and I am glad she is getting a new one.
Yeah, same. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with that game. It doesn't look like a direct sequel because I didn't see Perry.
Yeah, no emotion powers. Pretty much, it doesn't look anything like the original, so it's definitely going in a different direction, I think.
But, like, more Princess Peach games, I'm all for it.
Yeah, whatever they do for that game, I'm interested to see how it goes.
And hey, if down the road they ever decide to give Daisy her own series, you know who's going to be there?
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started, bro. Like, don't get me started on the potential of other character spin-offs. Like, I would be there for them. Like, even our boy Waluigi, like, people dunk on him, but I think even he has potential to have one.
Yeah. I remember somebody fumbling with the idea of him being repurposed for Wrecking Crew, and honestly, I could see that.
Yeah, Wrecking Crew would be a great one for him to take up, because that technically also is a series, but I didn't have it in my list, because it doesn't have many games. It only has like that NES one, and then I think there's like another one, but I forget what it is. But yeah, that's the series with Foreman Spike, so if they want to let him be Foreman Spike, that'd be fine with me. It'd be weird, but I think it could work.
Yeah, same. Honestly, Waluigi deserves to get out of spin-off purgatory like Daisy, so.
Yeah, I love him. People hate him a bit, but I think he deserves it, because we gotta remember, all these characters had rough starts. Like, Luigi was a Mario clone, bruh.
Yeah, he had a rough start. Yoshi didn't really have a rough start. He was kind of just, like, beloved from the get-go.
But yeah, I think everyone has potential to get more games, so I'm hoping that goes well for them. And
yeah, same.
With that, that'll be the end of the character spin-off section. Now we get into what I'm basically going to call the leftovers. These are like the last remaining ones that I couldn't really fit into any other categories. But also I call them that because not many people are as passionate as everything we just talked about. So first up, I don't even know how you're going to feel about this one. Dr. Mario. So how do you feel about the Dr. Mario franchise? I
have zero, like, attachment to Dr. Mario because I've never played any of the games.
Ooh, that is hard for me. Cause,
I'm so sorry. I've never played any of them.
I'm guessing, like, the most experience you have is maybe, like, Smash or something.
Yeah. Smash or, like, just looking at, like, certain, like, screenshots of, like, the game, and also like the little enemies, the little viruses from the game appearing in Superstar Saga.
Oh yeah, they were there.
They were in 𝗁𝗂𝗃, I think.
Yeah.
They were in that
crazy. Like again, this universe used to feel so much more connected, bro.
Right, like they used to just like implement whatever they could into like different facets of the franchise, and I love that about these games. But nowadays they kind of just like keeping it like really sterile, and it's kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah, they need to get back to that, which they are. We're making baby steps. We have Daisy out of the spin-off shackles, so here's hoping for more.
Indeed.
But back to Dr. Mario, I am very passionate about this series, like more than I should be, maybe, because it's a very simple series. It's just like a puzzle game series. It's similar to Tetris, Puyo Puyo, stuff like that. It doesn't have the most amount of depth to it. You just kill the viruses and solve puzzles. That's it. But I am addicted to the series, and the main reason I became addicted to it is I downloaded the NES one on my phone, and I was like, dang, it's so addicting, like, to play in between the day. So I started playing the other installments, and I grew to love them. Yeah.
Honestly, I would probably be a bigger fan if I was actually good at those games. I'm not.
Yeah. It like, especially if you like play on the harder modes, it can definitely be hard to get into. But if you start nice and slow, like, you can really get into it.
Yeah, I'm not good at Tetris at all, so it's just like, if I'm not good at Tetris, and I probably wouldn't really have that much fun.
I'm not even good at Tetris. I'm decent at Puyo Puyo and some other puzzle games, but Tetris I suck at, bruh.
Yeah, there are certain like franchises that I want to get into, but I just suck. Like Splatoon, I suck at Splatoon. I just can't play those.
Oh
games.
yeah, I tried to get into that too, but I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
But back to Dr. Mario. Overall, I like the series. In terms of the current state of it, it has been a little MIA, presumably, but not entirely, because the last normal one was the 3DS one, which mixed elements of Dr. Luigi, the GOAT, by the way, with like the regular formula. So that one was okay. And then you had the mobile one, which has a bunch of new little side modes and the craziest Mario roster ever. Like, in terms of the picks, it's not crazy because these are all characters you would expect in a Mario game. But what's crazy is the fact that they made everyone a doctor.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Dr. Dry Bowser, we got dead people as doctors. Dr. Baby Luigi, we got babies as doctors. That game is hilarious.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, like that game is amazing in that department. So if I had to describe my dream Dr. Mario game, it would be like that roster, just so that I could see how many Mario characters they make in the Doctors with Dr. Mario 64, which I think is low-key one of the most underrated Mario games.
Oh, Dr. Mario 64?
Yeah, because here's why. That game has a lot of interesting content with it. Like, it has a story mode, it has 4-player multiplayer, like, it has a weird roster because it has characters outside the usual Mario universe. Like, that game is weird, but it's really cool, and I think if they mix that with that roster, we'd have a really good game.
Interesting. I might have to look at that, because that sounds very compelling.
Yeah, it's on NSO, if you even have that, but yeah.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I recommend, like, just, testing it out. I don't know if you'll get into it, because like you explained, Dr. Mario can be hard to get into, but overall, I love that sub-series. More than most people, maybe.
I know, I feel like if I'm, like, willing to give, like, time to, like, try out a series, I can get into it, because, like, for a while, I was a bit iffy about, like, Metal Gear, and a little bit about, I was a little iffy about Kirby in the beginning, but I played a few of those games, and I like them.
Yeah. That gets into our next one, which, ooh, this is one where I haven't even played all of these games, but this is a weird series, bro. So Mario vs. Donkey Kong. History lesson. So this series, the DNA of this series comes from a game called Donkey Kong 94, which is a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
And it's basically a successor to the classic arcade game.
Yep.
So then that game became the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. And you would think, that's the series, right? They just built on that formula. No, because when the second one came, the mini Marios came.
March of the Minis.
Yeah. And it changed everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and that gameplay isn't terrible because, like, it kind of feels like a Pikmin-esque type of gameplay, with how you command the minis, but it's not as good as Pikmin.
I remember the minis being, like, everywhere in the marketing for that game back in the day.
Oh, yeah. At one point, these things were everywhere. Like, you can tell they wanted to, like, sell these hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I feel like because of the focus on the minis, it just made the series mediocre. Like, no game is particularly absolutely terrible, but the series is just so painfully mid. Like, and because of that, I feel like the only way this series comes back and is good, excuse me, is if we get, like, a, one that goes back to the roots of this series, play with the classic Donkey Kong formula again, because, some people still have love for it, so I think there's potential to expand on it.
Yeah.
Like, the one good thing that came out of this sub-series is it kept Pauline alive as a character.
Yeah, it brought her back, because, like, I think before that game, she was just, like, gone.
Yeah, she was in the ether with some other forgotten characters, and that series was keeping her alive. Like, she's even in the Wii U one. Like, she was in HD before Odyssey. So, yeah, like, that game is basically, like, the build-up to her big Odyssey return. So I'm thankful for that. Otherwise, if that series is not gonna, like, improve itself, it can stay dead for all I care. Which sounds harsh, but that's the truth of how I feel.
Sorry for any fans out there.
And I have friends who love those games. Like, I have a friend who loves the second one specifically, because he feels like even though that's the one where it changed things, that first time they experiment with it, they did have some interesting ideas, but otherwise, it got too repetitive. So yeah, that's a series that just exists for me. So we're on the last stretch. This is probably one of the last series we're going to mention, and then I'll mention like one other one, which is Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Now, I debated whether to even bring this one up, because obviously it's a crossover. And if I bring up this one, maybe I'd have to bring up Smash. And we're not going to talk about Smash.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's a whole different rabbit hole that we're not tackling.
Yeah. But Mario and Sonic is not that complicated, so I feel like we can bring it up. So how do you feel about Mario and Sonic?
Okay, so a little bit of background. Like, I didn't play the original. I never had the original, but I did play the Winter one. Like, the first Winter Games one. And I love that one. I have so many fond memories with that one. I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked it. I like the roster. I like the dream events. The regular Olympic events are fun too. But like, that game just made me like sit down and think, why didn't we just get a regular crossover game already?
This has been my thought since the first installment, bro. Because I will never forget the bafflement on my face when I learned we finally get the Series 2 crossover, and it's in an Olympic sports compilation, and it's just bizarre.
I feel you. I had the same thought, but I was just like, I never got to play that game, so I was just like, fuck it. I will play this game and see if I like it or not, and I liked it.
Yeah. And those early commercials especially are funny, because they did take advantage of the fact it's a crossover between these two.
Yeah, I remember those commercials. Those commercials were funny as hell.
We even got to hear Charles Martinet roast Sonic in his voice, which was cool. And Jason Griffin doing the otherwise. It was a weird, wacky era, bro.
That was a really weird era, and I remember, like, back in the day, they were using, like, the Final Countdown in their marketing, and I was just like...
Oh, yeah, that was foreshadowing to the Mario movie, bro, the mainstream songs.
Yeah. Yeah, the licensed music was starting right there, folks.
It actually goes back to the cartoons, because I think the cartoons use licensed music, but they removed it in, like, the re-releases.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because residuals, they ain't paying that shit.
Yeah, nah. But back to this series. So how I feel is I've owned the first three on Wii. I was going to ask, was it the Wii or DS version you played?
Oh, it was the Wii version.
Okay. Yeah, because they have handheld versions too usually, which get interesting because those have like in-depth story modes with like cutscene interactions, and it's crazy.
Yeah, the DS version actually has like a story mode that the Wii version, like the Wii version does, but it's way more like low key. But the DS version I've heard is just like actually kind of elaborate. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, there's some crazy interactions with that. Like you've seen me post screens of some of them too. Like Toad and 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 are friends, and 𝗃𝗵𝗆𝗀𝗀 apparently, and it's like, what is going on here?
DK of all characters.
It's so funny, bro. I mean, he maybe he hit up Funky Kong or something. I don't know, but either way, like that series, it was great in its prime. Like it wasn't perfect because obviously the Olympic sports are just Olympic sports at the end of the day, and it was very motion and touch based because Wii and DS. But overall, I like the series with those first three installments. Afterwards, though, the series became painfully mediocre because they stopped focusing on the dream events, which, why? Like, just why? That is my question. And then, what else? What else was the problem? Oh yeah, they never expanded the roster.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The roster has been the same since the second installment, basically.
Yeah.
We have had guest characters. Like, I think some of the later ones have guest characters you can play as, but only in one sport. So it's like, why? So because of that, this series just became mid. Going
back to the Donkey Kong fixing Omega thing, I could honestly buy Professor 𝗃𝗏𝗀𝗃 being the one to fix him, but Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, those games, they have some wild interactions. I could talk all day about what happens in those story modes.
But yeah, I played, like, London. I didn't really like that one. It was kind of mid to me. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of boring.
That's fair, because that's the point where you can tell they were, like, reaching, okay, we're just going to do more Mario and Sonic. Still had the dream events, though, so it still had something.
Yeah, it had something, but like it just made me want to go back to the original Winter Games one. So I was just like, yeah, I'm good on this game.
Yeah, like once you've played one, I feel like you get the gist of the whole series.
Yeah, and it just made me want that proper crossover even more.
Yeah, like my ultimatum with this series comes down to basically this. Like, if you're gonna continue the series, at least improve it. Like, focus on the dream events and less on the boring Olympic sports. Expand the roster, please. We've had the same one since the second game, bro. Like, put Sage in there. Have her interact with Bowser Jr. or something.
Like, if you must, like, dig deep into the trenches, like, put in Hammer Bro. Like, come on.
That would be so funny, bro. But yeah, expand the roster, and if you're not gonna do all that, let the series rest and give us the crossover, please.
Like the actual like crossover. Like, can you imagine if we had gotten that proper crossover during the GameCube era, bro?
Bro, I'm just gonna say this now. I've been conceptualizing that for the longest. I have like a whole concept document for that, and ooh, I am still thirsty for it, bro.
Yeah, like that could have been like the game that would have been like the talk of like the schoolyard, bro.
For real. And it still could be. It still could be. Like, these series are not necessarily in their prime each, but they definitely can work together and do something cool.
Honestly, like, if they really, like, if they bring in new talent that has, like, ideas that could really stand out, they could definitely do it.
Yeah. But with that, that's going to cover almost pretty much every Mario franchise. Like, there's some obscure ones like Mario Paintball. Who really cares if that comes back or not? I will say that led to some cool, like, song recreations for that. But otherwise, I don't care about Mario Paint. And, like, I guess Mario DDR. Like, if Waluigi's going to come back in Wrecking Crew, give him Mario DDR too.
Honestly, like, DDR is, like, very niche. Like, that has like its crowd of fans. Like, I have a friend who really likes DDR, and I think he'd really like Mario Mix. But like, if they want to like bring that back, they're gonna have to like really expand on it.
For real. And yeah, let Waluigi take a shine there. But with that, that's gonna be the end of our Mario franchise talk. So overall, how do you feel about the overall state of Mario?
I'm thinking, honestly, I think we're in a really good like position for Mario. Like, it's a really good time to be a Mario fan. Like, you got not just the Wonder and this new Untitled Peach game to look forward to, and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon getting remastered, but you also have the movie. You also have the new like remake for the old Mario RPG coming back, and then you have Super Nintendo World if you're really into that physical aspect of Mario. Like, it's a really good time to be a Mario fan.
Yeah, I think on most fronts they've pretty much they've been cooking. Obviously, they still need to fix some stuff. Like, for example, those sports games could use more content. I'm hoping Mario Party doesn't go into another decade of mid. Like, stuff like that. Sure. Like, they can definitely improve on stuff. But overall, Mario is in a great position, and I love this series, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Like, Mario, aside from Sonic and Pokemon, have been like those three franchises have been like my big three since I was a kid. So seeing Mario like just doing a lot better nowadays puts a big old smile on my face. Yeah,
so I look forward to all the future games with this stubby, cute plumber guy. It's crazy how this plumber can be so versatile, man. It's really crazy.
Right. And to think, like, in only a few short years, he's going to be 40 years old, man. Like, the series is going to be 40 years old. Oh, my God.
Man, don't get me started with that, because then I'm going to start feeling old, and you're going to start feeling old, and...
Yeah.
Ooh, I can feel my bones turn into dust.
Me too, man. I can already feel my bones cracking over here.
But thank you for joining me in this discussion, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, dude. I've honestly wanted to do this for a while. It's great being here.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go back and edit this, and in general, I just want to let you know I enjoyed this, and thank you for coming on. I'll plug your channel in the description. It'll be the Luigi Fan 1. So go check out 𝗏𝗨𝗆's channel. It's like really, he does some cool stuff. He's a voice actor, so he does like voice stuff. He'll occasionally edit stuff. Like, check him out.
I appreciate it, man. Like, this was a lot of fun. Like, I'm just glad I got to finally like collab with you like this.
Yeah, all his socials will be in the description. So
yeah,
if you made it to this point in the video, thank you for watching, because I know this was a long one. It was a very long one. But thank you for watching all the way to the end. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, check out my other socials if you're interested in more stuff like that. And that'll be all, folks. This is Nux, and I'm out. Peace.